Chris Mackowski for Emerging Civil War. Good morning. You can see the sun coming up just behind me. It's shortly after 7 o'clock on Saturday, March 27th. I'm in Spotsylvania at Stevenson Ridge, and we're getting ready for a top secret special Emerging Civil War project today. I'm going to walk you through it. We're super excited to share some great history with you today, and we'll fill you in as we go along. Real excited to be here. This is the lodge at Stevenson Ridge. Those of you who've been here for the symposium know the venue well. We're going to be spending the day inside today for an ECW virtual symposium that we're doing as a special treat for you. And our friends from C-SPAN will be here today as well. So you'll be able to see it not only here on our YouTube page, but also on C-SPAN later this spring. So Doug, you're going to kick things off this morning. How you feeling?
Feel good.
You ready for game time?
Sure.
You seem pretty confident.
Well, we'll find out.
Doug, what are you talking about tonight?
Fort Harrison.
Fort Harrison, an undertold story.
Undertold story, but an important story and a great lost opportunity for Grant and the Union Army.
Now, you seem to like writing about lost opportunities because you've called Glendale the great lost opportunity for Robert E. Lee.
It's just worked out that way.
Yeah.
I just find them fascinating. There are more.
So what's one thing about Fort Harrison you would want people to take away?
I think it was a great opportunity to take Richmond early, but the second thing is the role of the USCTs. I think it's very important.
Very good. I'm not going to have you tell us any more about it because I want people to watch the program. So tune in to Doug Crenshaw. He's the author of a book on Fort Harrison. He's the author of a book on Glendale, and most recently co-author of a book with Burt Dunkerley, my condolences, called Embattled Capital, Richmond During the Civil War.
Right.
Doug, I hope you have a good time today.
Thank you. I appreciate the offer.
So since Doug just talked about USCT, look, we have our own USCT here today. Stuart Henderson. Stuart, you're going to be talking later on today. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about.
I'm going to be talking about fighting for their freedom, the United States Colored Troops. It's going to be basically focused on two of the regiments that I belong to, the 23rd United States Colored Troops and the 54th Mass Company B. So, and then in the middle, I'll talk about some of the other USCTs as well. Now, there's one black man on this slide we are very proud of because he's Sergeant Nimrod Burt of the 23rd United States Colored Troops.
Now, this has been a very strong passion project for you to tell the stories of these units in particular. What's your personal connection?
Well, from a 6-year-old boy, I love Civil War history, and my 4th to 6th grade teacher was Nora Drew Gregory. She was the sister of Dr. Charles Drew, the very famous Dr. Charles Drew who founded Plasma, and she taught us a lot about Black history. And also I had an uncle who was going around teaching about what he called Afro-American history in the 1960s. And he taught me a lot about the USCT back then. And ever since I've been with the National Park Service, I see a need to tell people, especially in the area that I am now, Fredericksburg area, about the United States Colored Troops.
Now, I'll ask you real quick about these two medals that are on your chest that are obscured a little bit by the mask. Is that mask a standard issue for USCT?
No, the mask is not. I wish I could do away with these masks. I get my next shot on March 31st, so yeah.
Good luck. Tell us about these medals.
Well, this one is actually the 9th Corps badge. The 23rd Regiment was part of the 4th Division of the 9th Corps. So this is for General Burnside, and he had the 9th Corps. He worked with the Navy during his Burnside campaign, so the cannon and the anchor stand for the Army and the Navy. The other one is from the Sons of Union Veterans for the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. I was in the Sons of Union Veterans for a short time as an associate member.
Looking forward to your talk today.
Thank you.
And yes, that was Stuart talking a moment ago to ECW editorial board member Terry Rensel, who has volunteered to serve as the stunt double for the entire audience that we would normally have. Usually this room is packed for one of our symposia, so to be speaking to a big cavernous room is a little weird in some respects.
New Market ends in a Union defeat, and this adds to that string of defeats.
Sarah K. Barley, the engine that drives ECW on a day-to-day basis, our managing editor. Today at the virtual symposium, you're going to be visiting the Shenandoah Valley. Tell us about that.
Yes, and we're taking a unique look at the Shenandoah Valley. So we're going to focus in on the campaigns that happened in 1864, particularly the New Market campaign, Lynchburg, and then the Autumn campaign. But we're going to add another twist to it in that we're going to use those campaigns to look at battlefield and campaign medicine during the Civil War.
So survival is a key theme.
Yes, it is.
And what makes the, what are some of the insights, and I don't want you to give away the story, but what are some of the insights that are particular to the Valley that you've come away with?
Right, so by using the Valley as a focus point, it kind of helped me narrow in on just a particular region and a particular area to look at, which was really helpful. And the Valley is an area where survival is part of that big key phrase, because the region itself goes through so much in 1864, and then that of course is reflected in the personal experiences as well.
Now, if ECW has a superhero, it's Sarah K. Barley. As I mentioned, as our managing editor, she's the one who kind of does the day-to-day operations. So I want to take an opportunity in front of all of you to just say, Sarah, thanks for all your hard work.
Well, thank you. Glad to help out.
Joining me now is John Tracy, and he looks, because he's standing behind me, like he's smaller, but the man actually towers over me. This is my first time meeting you in person, John. You're taller than I expected.
Well, I get that a lot. That's not particularly a new statement, I suppose.
You're coming down to join us today from West Virginia. Tell us what you do in West Virginia.
So over at West Virginia University, I'm a graduate student in the public history program. Really great program, lots of really useful skills for people like us in emerging Civil War. Getting all that great content-based knowledge about the Civil War, but also looking at, how it is you interpret that to the public and how to make sure that it is, meaningful and accessible.
But you've got your dapper little bow tie. That comes from Gettysburg College, I'm guessing by the colors.
Yeah, so I did my undergraduate over at Gettysburg College, working with all the great folks over at the Civil War Institute and Gettysburg National Military Park. Really couldn't ask for a better location for an undergraduate institution.
And your stuff on Gettysburg that our readers on the blog are familiar with, just fantastic. You hit it out of the park over and over with your Gettysburg stuff. I really love it. Today, what are you going to be talking about here at the virtual symposium?
So today, I guess, is a little bit of Gettysburg stuff, but a little bit beyond it too. I'm going to be talking about John Rankin, who served in the 27th Indiana. We'll talk a little bit about what he's doing during the war, but more importantly, he writes some really great memoirs of Antietam and some newspaper articles for the National Tribune about Gettysburg, where he's kind of fighting with some other veterans. So the bulk of the talk is really, let's look at this guy, let's look at how he's remembering his service in the war and what that really means, why that's important.
Last question, what got you connected to Rankin in the first place?
We're at Gettysburg. Spend all kinds of time just kind of looking through, trying to figure out things. I work a lot with Wounded at Gettysburg. John Rankin's Wounded at Gettysburg, and it just kind of spiraled wildly out of control. When you fall down the rabbit hole, you're just like, wait. And then he wrote this great thing about Antietam, and then he wrote all these things about Gettysburg, and it just kind of kept going and kept going, because so many times you're looking up these guys and they're leaving so little record, and then just to stumble upon somebody who's writing so much, and as you'll see, just some really, really vivid accounts. I couldn't stop looking into it.
And we're looking forward to the talk today. You've given us a taste on the blog, John Rankin and Bravery. You did, as I recall,
Yep.
a piece on the blog, so folks can check that out. And looking forward to your talk today here at the virtual symposium. I'm also doing a talk about Grant's last battle, but since I can't take pictures of myself, I'll take a picture of lunch instead. We have a new chef, Chef Shane. Super excited about lunch. All right, we're going to take a second and talk to ECW co-founder Chris White in his casual male ensemble here today. And Chris, you're actually the technical genius making today possible. What's going on behind the scenes?
Well, I'm underpaid and undervalued by Chris Mackowski behind the camera, because I have stabilizers, I have microphones, but Chris is not using any of those. He's just using his iPhone for it. Now, to pull off something like this, it's, this day and age, with the virtual conferences being kind of a hit and miss thing with some people, we try to bring you a high quality product on YouTube and on our Facebook channels. And to do that, we have, state-of-the-art tech. We're using something called Switcher, which is an awesome app which can bring us the PowerPoints right into your home and right onto the screen for you. We have the latest Bluetooth technology that's capturing our audio for us. So, we're more advanced here at Emerging Civil War than you would think. And in part, we have to thank the American Battlefield Trust for that, because a lot of that training comes from my day job there at the American Battlefield Trust and trying to figure out how to make video work in the middle of a field with absolutely no internet.
Although I think you power yourself through Gary Edelman's energy, don't you?
Well, that's most of it. Yeah, it's the positive force of Gary saying it's gonna work, it's cool. So that's how we do it.
But I will give you specifically props for being kind of on the cutting edge of all this technology. When the pandemic hit and Zoom became the new thing, you had already been making some of that stuff happen, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, we still have a series called Zoom Goes to History. We have some things, our Virtual Teacher Institute, which will be on a really cool platform this year in July. But the trust is always up to something where our YouTube channel is robust, our Facebook channel, our Facebook Live. So we have all kinds of different toys and equipment that we use for a variety of situations because, all joking aside, we never know where we will end up with some of our trips. You know, we might be in the middle of a city for one shoot where we have plenty of power and we have plenty of Wi-Fi or internet or you know, cell coverage, or we might be in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee or Mississippi, down by the Mississippi River, where there's no person within 40 or 50 miles of us, down in a place called Bruinsburg, which was an awesome shoot, but we made that happen to come to you because we had to overcome some of our technical problems, we'll call them. But it's like, it seems like, hey, everything works in the office, we go into the field, why doesn't that work?
So you're bringing some of that technology here to Stevenson Ridge for a virtual Emerging Civil War Symposium. What should we expect?
We should expect some great camera work. We should expect some great graphics. I don't care about the speakers. There's a lot of moving parts going on. Who knows about that? Now, all joking aside, you'll have hours of great content, free content, by the way, on the Emerging Civil War YouTube channel. You can see who I'm trained by, and those things are going to be live forever up there for free. So we hope you share those with your friends, with your coworkers. We know you watch them at work, so enjoy them while you're there. But you'll be seeing some great free content, and it's about as best as we can do here in this pandemic. We have our own mobile studio that we can take around the world.
So, Chris, I'll give you a big shout out because the virtual symposium would not be possible without you and your expertise and your technical abilities and the Trust's equipment. So thanks to them as well.
He is just buttering me up so that I will do the next virtual symposium for him. So thank you, Chris.